Hey everybody, what's up? Look at the dollar. Look at gold. The dollar has completely reversed entirely its post December 14th Fed rate hike move. Okay, all that evaporated, gone. Same thing with gold. Gold now up about $100 since that December 14th rate hike, exactly like what happened on the December 2015 rate hike. Okay, we've had a $300 rally in gold that ensued following that very first rate hike on December 2015. And last December, December 14th, 2016, gold has already gained $100. All right, so everything that I've been talking about is coming to fruition now. I spoke about how the rate hikes feed into higher inflation. Tomorrow we will get the CPI, which is already running at a 2-year high. PPI last week, I spoke about that, the current level of producer prices year over year. Also now rising at the fastest rate in 5 years, since February 2012. And the core, when you take out food and energy, that is rising at the fastest rate in 13 months, or 12 months, I should say. Okay. Tomorrow, with the CPI, even if we get a 0.2% increase, which is modest and which would be in line with the past increases, that would vault up the rate of growth in the CPI to also a 5-year high. Okay, so the inflation's being built in, and it's being built in by the Fed rate hikes. But the Fed, they think they're squashing inflation. Okay, and the mainstream economic thought, right? The mainstream economic wisdom, which is terrible, all right? Because this is the same wisdom that put everybody into austerity and claiming that it's stimulative and all that crap. This economic wisdom thinks that it is quashing inflation when it raises interest rates, when all it is doing, it's actually a reverse situation of what we have seen over the past 8 years from 2008 until last year, where the Fed was and other central banks were removing income and removing the highest quality financial assets and thinking, hey, we're stimulating. That's not stimulus, okay? That's deflationary. That's removing income. That is supportive of the various currencies in which those activities are happening, in which that monetary policy is taking place. All right, so these are the geniuses. And you could say to me, Mike, you're wrong. Okay, fine. You could say that. But these are the numbskulls who impose austerity, who demand austerity in exchange for their wonderfully stimulative policies of taking away income, negative interest rates, which are nothing more than a tax, okay? Taking away the highest quality collateral and assets in the world, these government securities, and saying, hey, we're stimulating everything. Absolute retarded thinking, okay? So everything that I've said is happening. And I'm not like these blind fools, okay, who have just been like the broken clock saying the same thing over and over again for years. The dollar's going to crash. Now suddenly it's not crashing yet. But this is the beginning of a long-term decline, I think. Now, here's the thing. A lot of things on the table for this year. We have a new president. We have a new administration. We have a new Congress. This is why I'm not 100% comfortable saying for the next 4 years this is going down. I would ordinarily probably say that. At least I would say it for the next 2 years for sure, because every 2 years there's a congressional election and, you know, the composition of Congress could change. However, a lot of things, Trump has talked big talk about fiscal stimulus. By the way, I have to say something about Trump, and this is absolutely, I'm not trying to joke around here. I really think he's reading my stuff. At least from a political and particularly from a geopolitical standpoint, because everything that I've been talking about for years, and I'll do a separate video on this, but everything that I've been talking about for years on the benefits of the United States, for example, normalizing relations with Russia, on how the United States, how the deep state, the intelligence community, defense community have engaged in regime overthrow, okay, in Ukraine, in Libya, in Iraq, in Syria now, where we, the United States, are supporting Al-Qaeda and al-Nusra and even ISIS. That's why Obama never really was serious about getting rid of ISIS. I mean, the CIA was arming them and backing them as a proxy to overthrow Assad, all right? So he's been echoing my sentiments on that. Make friends with Russia, normalize relations. Russia is not a military threat to the United States. These sorts of things. When he said in his news conference last week, and it was shocking, even though I know he has a positive view or hopes to have a positive relationship with Russia, but he's been bombarded, he's been attacked about the Russian hacking and all this garbage, you know, and now we see that all of that was just false information and just ginned up to try to delegitimize Trump as president. But when he said in that news conference, hey, if Vladimir Putin gets along with me, that's called an asset, okay? And he said it again. And I mean, that was boom. You couldn't say it any better than that. That's absolutely correct. Anyway, I really think he's reading my stuff. On the economic side, however, and I'm going to do a separate video on this, but on the economic side, I think Trump is going to be interesting to see how it plays out, because he talks about stimulus, he talks about making America great again, but at the same time, he talks about our tremendous debt. He talks about wanting to, you know, bring the deficits down, all this kind of stuff. This is austerity talk. And he's padded his administration with fiscal hawks, and Congress is full of fiscal hawks now with the Republicans. So, you know, but it doesn't mean Trump won't follow through. I mean, he brought in hardliners against Russia in General Mattis and also in Mike Pompeo, who's going to run the CIA. But yet he is openly willing to befriend Russia. Okay, so he brought these guys in, but yet he smacks down their position. All right, so we have to see. This is why I'm not comfortable making a full-blown, hey, 4 years down in the dollar. But it could very well end up to be that way. Anyway, if you have, by the way, all this stuff has been in the MMT Trader report all along. All of my calls. Nobody has had this. Nobody has had this. Okay? Zero people. Zero with the rationale that is 100% correct about what is going on. Okay? You can only get it from me, because I'm the only guy who has an applied MMT approach. There's a lot of, you know, MMT talkers out there. A lot of MMT theorists. I'm the only guy that tells you how to use it in the markets. And I hold your hand. I tell you to be calm. I tell you to develop mental game. I tell you to toughen up. We had a lot of people. We had one guy in particular last month mocking me, defaming me, actually. Saying, oh, it's Mike Norman. I prudently stopped myself out in dollar yen. Well, my dollar yen position is big time in profit now, okay? Well, that guy prudently stopped himself out with losses. Loser. Total loser. All right, everybody. I'll see you later. Bye-bye.